Check, check. Alright, I'm back. Welcome to... Oh. Much better. Welcome back to Slay the Gray Hobby Hangout live stream. All that good stuff. My name is Sam, this is Big Nerds Wargaming, and today I'm painting some 3D printed Necron terrain. So this is actually like a big hill structure, and it's got this cool pylon thing on top. So yeah, I'm going to be painting that today, and I'm going to be painting it up in this style, similar to some terrain I painted up and printed a while back. So I'm using this as our reference here. So we have some like shades of blue, just to kind of break up the black up a little bit, and then we're just going to do some simple metallics and green power glows, and call it a day, and get it kind of looking like the same scheme over here. So let's get started on that. I'm just going to set this aside so I have something to look at for my imitation. Alright, so we're gonna do this in chunks here. I'm gonna set this aside. And these roof tiles, probably do those first actually. So this is just gonna be a lot of dry brushing. Mostly. And get that bluish color, I do kind of two passes. One with Incubi Darkness, and the other is with Thunderhawk Blue. So we'll start with the Incubi Darkness to get that dry brush down everywhere, and then go from there. And if you're joining me after the stream has gone up, we do this every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Central Time. We post other videos to the channel, usually bi-weekly. Late in the week, usually on a Friday, and those range from battle reports to painting tutorials, hobby discussion, everything mini wargaming and hobby related. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. I got this vortex mixer here, just gonna get this Incubi Darkness all mixed up. So it's kind of a lot of terrain here, but I think it'll paint up pretty quickly with these techniques, these dry brushing scheme I'm going to be doing. So, nice thing about terrain is I usually don't give a ton of effort for terrain. I want to find the right balance of looking nice and getting it done. And then save the detail work for the actual miniatures, because the terrain is just background. Alright, so I'm going to be using just a junky brush here to get this out of the pot onto this little plastic palette I have. Not using the wet palette tonight, mostly just dry brushing, so it's not really necessary. And then as far as brushes go, I'm using a mixture of Army Painter dry brushes, as well as some cheap Amazon makeup brushes. They make excellent dry brushes, especially for terrain. Avery, hand pink waving. Oh, I guess that emoji doesn't translate on the chat. Just gonna work it into my brush here, and just kind of test it on the towel here. This is a pretty dark color, so I don't really mind if it goes on a little thick. And then I'm just gonna go around and just try to catch the edges on all these tiles and all the texture of this. So these ground tiles aren't going to do a whole lot. I just want to get something down on them. This might be kind of hard to see since it's so dark, but it'll lighten up a little bit. Alright, so for something like this, just really focusing on anywhere with these ridges. And any hard edges. I'm gonna need more paint. Yeah, these big brushes, they take up a lot of paint, so. I'm gonna get a healthy amount, large amount of paint on this palette here. And just a little bit of water. Clean off my little brush. This terrain is for the Pariah Nexus Crusade series that is going on the channel right now. So, just trying to get some more Necron terrain for the battlefields. There we go, that's much better. A little bit more paint on the brush this time. Really trying to catch mostly the edges. It's kind of layering on the black a little bit, but that's okay. This terrain I got from my mini factory from a creator called Sacramundus. This creator makes a lot of really cool grim dark terrain, which is highly detailed, and I'm a huge fan of it. I have a couple other sets from the same designer. Really like his work, or their work. I don't know who they are. But just one of many awesome creators on my mini factory, making printable assets. Get this door. The door is actually glue on the sides of the bigger section. Paint down here. Dab it off on the towel here. And right back to it. Just kind of going up and down on these kind of ribbed walls here. And catch these hard edges. Not really worrying about being too neat here, just kind of getting that initial highlight shading down. I'll get a little bit more targeted once I move up in the brightness of the next color. More paint. Get some happy little Necron structures. As far as Xenos terrain goes, the Necron stuff looks really cool. We're looking at some Eldar terrain as well. The folks at War Scenery make a lot of that like Dawn of War inspired terrain. They just came out with a Eldar set, which is really cool. So I'll be printing some of that at some point. Get some cool Eldari battlefields, kind of like on a craft world or something. Just gonna add a little bit of water just to rehydrate what's on this palette. Hopefully I can get some more use out of this. Hopefully that wasn't too much water. It may have been. I need some more paint here. It's a little messy. There we go. Back in business. And then lastly, we have the pylons. Try to make sure we catch those hard edges. All around. Long Island Iced Tea 2. Awesome terrain. Thank you. Sweet Necron terrain, yes. This is from a designer on My Manufactory called Sacramundus. They make a lot of good grimdark 40k terrain. So if you got a printer and you're looking for some cool terrain, that's the place that's the creator to look up. A lot of really cool stuff. Alright. Time to move on to the next color. And for that, I think I'm gonna actually step down in size of brushes. We'll get this big one washed out real quick. All right. Next color I'm going to be using is Thunderhawk Blue. I'm just going to wipe some of this paint off here. I'm going to use a smaller dry brush. Be a little bit more precise. So I'll use the biggest one from Army Painter. Mix up what's left of this Thunderhawk Blue. These are the last of my unpainted Necron terrain that I have printed. But I may print more. I haven't decided. Alright, we'll get some of this on here. Okay, this pot's almost gone. That's okay. Alright. So, using a smaller dry brush, just gonna work that in the bristles and get the right amount to work with here. And for this, I'm just gonna try to really target the edges. Just kind of break up all that blackness. It says black stone, but you know, all black is kind of boring. So I like to shade blackstone with shades of blue, or like a blue-gray. Makes for a good kind of highlight color. Just make it look a little bit more interesting. The Necron terrain is pretty cool. I like it. I haven't seen a whole lot of good Tyranid terrain. I mean, there's some cool stuff, but it doesn't... Nothing really big enough to be super good on the table for, like, gaming terrain, as far as line of sight blocking. It's more so just flavor terrain. This Necron stuff is really nice. It's a nice alternative to city ruins everywhere. So I get sick of city ruins. Alright, I'm gonna set that one aside, and we'll do this wall next. Just gonna get all these well-defined edges a little bit more focused here. And of course, we'll be adding some Tesseract glow to this to make it light up and come to life. I think if you can't paint a piece of terrain in one painting session, it's got too much detail on it. I try to keep terrain simple, find the right balance of quality and speed. So I'll exploit any speed hack that is available. This wall's looking good. On to the next one. Stairs. Realizing I didn't get these steps over here very well. There we go. So just kind of following the lines and the patterns. Making a nice little highlight with the dry brush. It is a lot of dry brushing. It's a lot of terrain. Big piece of terrain, I should say. to make sure I get the details that are sticking out the most. So the most important to grab with the dry brush highlight here. And on these doors, got a couple little boogers here from my 3D printer. A little bit of stringing issues with this filament. I cleaned it up about as best as I could. Let's get these ground tiles here. So once again, the end result is going to be something like this. Something real simple, using a little bit of dry brushing, some effect paint, a little bit of metallics. Something that's fast and easy to paint and looks good. Go. Just get this last floor piece here. If I have enough brush on my paint on my brush I can work with. There we go. That's all the black highlights I'm going to be doing. Just a couple little passes of some dry brushing. Something real simple. Now, I'm going to move on to some of the metallics, I think. We'll save the Tesseract glow and lighting effects last. Okay, so, metallics. I think we'll go with Lead Belcher here. Possibly Iron Breaker. Yeah, we'll do Iron Breaker. A little bit lighter silver. Just to add a little bit more contrast to all the dark colors here. And for this, I'm actually also going to still use a dry brush. A small dry brush, though. Smaller. I think this one will be small enough for me to get in there and target some of these metallic details a little bit. There's not going to be a whole lot. Just kind of looking at what I want to paint metallic and what I want to leave blackstone. Yeah, I think this dry brush will be the right size for that. So, give this a good shake on the mixer here. I may come in with a smaller brush for some smaller details. I think I can get most of it with this dry brush here, which will be really nice. So, let's get some Iron Breaker on there, and I'm not gonna brush it off too much. This is actually gonna be kind of heavy, but I think these pieces here this middle ridge in between these kind of supporting pillars here. I can get most of that with the dry brush. Just being very careful. Since it's sticking up like that. There. Something really, really quick and easy to do. And also by using a dry brush, I don't fully coat the detail here in silver, so some of the black underneath shows through, and it kind of almost looks like I washed it in Nuln oil or something. Dry brushing silver over black always looks good. Most cases. Chef's kiss. Thank you. Favorite Xenos terrain? Let me know what you think. I'm torn between Eldar and Necrons. They both look very cool. I suppose the Tau terrain's kind of cool too. Kind of got like a Star Wars vibe to it. But yeah, the whole Space Egyptian undead Necron theme is really cool. Tomb worlds and whatnot. So I'm trying my hardest just to stay in this middle ridge here. Spilling over a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about it. It is but terrain, the background of our battles. Doesn't need to be perfect. Yeah, 3D printing has just completely changed this hobby. Enabling cool terrain, awesome proxies. I think it's all changes for the better. Just another facet to the hobby and as a whole. The whole 3D printing side of things. Kind of gives a lot of independent creators a platform to share their designs and miniatures. Just gonna get this door frame here silver. Touch up on this piece a little bit. A little too dark for my liking. There we go. Got this side of the hill. Yeah, so far I've done nothing but dry brushing to paint this. So a little bit of dry brushing goes a long way. Especially with terrain. we got this last piece here, the antenna array. So I think this whole bit here is going to be silver. This whole bit here is going to be silver. There's silver around this energy orb here. And I think all up the center here. For that iron breaker on there. Trying to get in there pretty neat, but not getting it on the blackstone pieces. Some targeted dry brushing. Need some more silver, aren't I? Almost just had enough. Almost. It's cool watching the highlights come in. It makes a huge difference and is pretty noticeable. Yeah. I love dry brushing. It's almost magical how something so simple can really just bring the whole thing to life. It's mesmerizing. Just being real careful here just to catch those center bars. Get up here on top. All right. So I think that will do it for metallics. Now we're gonna do the fun stuff. The green energy glows. We have to do something with these orbs here on this guy. I might have to break out the airbrush for this big one here, I think. Okay. So I don't want to overdo it on the energy. Alright, so I'm going to grab a nice, strong white color. Gold titanium white. From Pro Acryl. Clean off a spot on this little palette I'm using. I'm just going to go around and start painting the areas that I want energy glowing. So these I'm going to leave black stone, so I'm going to set those aside. I'll grab kind of a bigger brush here. And that's just a matter of going around and coloring in all these orbs that I want to be glowing green, white. So I'm using the Tesseract Glow technical paint for that. It's a great green effect. Gets the job done. And this Pro Acryl white, it covers really nicely. I've been turned on to it recently. It's very pure white and it's got good coverage. Doesn't look as chunky as Corax white. It is not. It's very smooth. Corax white is a little on the cooler side on the color spectrum, but this is more of like a pure white. So Corax white still has its uses. Corax white isn't too bad as far as coverage goes, but White Scar is kind of notoriously bad, I think. I also picked up the Pro Acryl metallic paints, and those are pretty nice too. There's some good alternatives to Citadel. And so far, I've tried some of the Army Painter Fanatic paints, their new line, and so far every one of those I've tried has been pretty impressive. I'd love to get some more of those paints to try them out. I'm hoping to get this terrain painted up so I can feature it in the next episode of Pariah Nexus Crusade series on the channel. We have Wave 2 of the battle reports coming out for that. The first one just came out last weekend. And we have a few more coming, and then we'll probably wrap it up. Move on to something else. But it's been a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying Crusade in 10th edition. I think to also add some visual interest, I'm going to incorporate some of that brownish bronze color that you see with the Caesarican dynasty on some of this metal, just so it's not all silver. Got some energy orbs going up the center here, sides. Right on, I'll have to check it out. Nice. Yeah, we have 5 episodes out now. They're kind of you can watch them in any order really, but as the Force goes through it, it gets, you know, some more upgrades and kind of follow a Necron army facing off a bunch of different foes. Featuring Crusade missions from Pariah Nexus, the Crusade supplement. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Probably got the most glowy bits, I think. Central pylon. Portal thing. Maybe it's like a gate to teleport stuff into. Or the hypercrypt. I don't know, but this is a really cool design. I wish Games Workshop would make some more Xenos terrain. But luckily there's a bunch of really good stuff, alternatives online. They can just 3D print. Alright, so this big orb here in the center, I'm gonna have to airbrush that, I think. Let me do that real quick, actually. I got it right here. It'll take a second. Get matte white out. Army Painter air paints are a lifesaver. Super, super nice. Alright, I don't need much for this. Nice. Just clean up my airbrush real quick. Alright, back to painting. So this is going to set aside. And now, I'm gonna do all the cracks in these ridges here, I think. But I'm gonna leave these inner ones black. I don't wanna overdo the effect. Just gonna thin this paint out a little bit, make it a little runnier. Just guide it along in here. Yeah, we're gonna have this done in no time. Alright, that piece is ready for some green. Set that aside. Let's do these doors next. Alright, I'm gonna try to get this track. I'm gonna go on this pattern here on the threshold. Unfortunately, my 3D printer kind of made a mess of this one. Got some of these little plastic boogers that I did not do a good enough job cleaning up, it looks like. We'll say they're nano scarabs, repairing the structure. Yeah, so this evening's painting is a little bit more on the chill side. But last week I was painting some Space Marines, doing some cool edge highlights and layering techniques. I'll probably go back to those next time I stream. Finish up those Stern Guard veterans. Just to wrap up the Leviathan box. It's been over a year now since it came out. I do feel a little bad that I haven't painted everything in it yet. I jump around too much from project to project. Alright, one door is ready. Next one. Some more paint on here. So this is Necron terrain that I 3D printed. Just giving it a quick paint job here. A lot of dry brushing. Alright, one more door is done. Yeah, let's do this piece next. I think we just got this front door here to take care of. Yeah, 3D printing is fun, but it sure does take a long time. I get excited when I see a bunch of terrain. Then I remember I have to actually print it. That takes a very long time to print. It'll take me kind of because I have to be around when it's printing, because I don't want to, in case something happens and I need to stop it, so it'll take me sometimes weeks to print a terrain set, just so I can, you know, effectively keep an eye on it. That, and it just takes a long time to print in general, as it's printing. Alright, so now we just got these other pieces. We have a lot of stuff in these stairs here, these Necron symbols. I'm wondering if I can paint those white as well, because that would look really cool. I'm gonna give it a shot. Hopefully it won't be too bad. Alright, so far so good. I mean, how cool would glowing stairs look? I think this is going to be worth the effort here. I have to thin this paint down a little bit to make it just a little bit more runny. Totally gonna be worth it. Oh yeah, I think so. The stairs of eternity. Picture the Necron Lord just walking down them. Any slappiness I do here, it'll just kind of look like glowing light at the end of the day. But I will try my hardest to stay in these lines here, these little grooves. But I'm not going to throw a fit if I make a mistake. Oh man. Maybe like a white enamel would be good here, but then I'd have to wait for it to dry completely, and that takes like a long time. Like 24 hours, long time. And I don't got that kind of time. I want to get this done tonight, so I think this is working out. Just a little bit more time with the brush, that's all. Yeah, a thinned down enamel would just flow right in there. Kind of like a panel liner. That'd make it really easy. But the, yeah, this thinned down paint's working pretty well too. Glyphs. So many glyphs. I just have to tell myself it will be worth it. It will be worth it. Alright, I'm starting to get a little bit faster at this now. Using my left hand to keep my wrist steady here. Almost getting into a little rhythm here. These would also look really cool if they were just metallic. But I already started. I'm committed. Then there's a whole other set of steps I have to do after this. Then I think that's pretty much everything. And then it's moving on to the green. And that's the most fun part, the most exciting part. My favorite part about painting Necrons. Like turning on a light switch. Alright, what are we all working on? What's on our hobby desk? What are we painting? What are we building? Let me know. I'm curious. What are people collecting and building these days? I'll start. I'm painting Necron terrain. Alright, so this is a bit of a chore, getting all these glyphs. Oops. I made a mistake! Then we'll get these side pieces here as well for consistency. Magnetizing a flying Cold Star commander. Basing his base, assembling some fire warriors, and maybe finish magnetizing my Storm Surge. That sounds cool. I like that. The Tau. Tau are cool. I played against Tau last night. My Tyranids Crusade Force. It's a good game. I just finished 10 Termagants, 3 Zoanthropes, and a Biovore. Oh, and excellent. A fellow member of the Hive Mind. Don't let this Necron stuff fool you. Tyranids are my first love when it comes to Warhammer armies. What do you think of the new Biovore? I found that if you don't glue the weapon, you can swap it out with the Pyrovore and Biovore pretty easily. So I can run either. Zoanthropes are fun too. I like those. Like little flying las cannons. They'll wreck up your day. Uh-huh. Alright, one more of these to go, and then bust out the fun colors. We bring this to life. Yeah, I'm also working on my Imperial Knights. I painted up a knight over the weekend. That was a project. I got 2 more big knights to go. I have so a total of 3 knights and 4 armigers. I kind of got him for a good deal, a swap meet. And I wasn't like super into knights, but after painting up my first one, I think I get it. Knights are fun. I like the big knights. And the house I picked, House Griffith, apparently they live on like a volcanic mining world. And that's giving me some ideas for terrain, as well as a possible... Maybe I'll do a narrative campaign in the future, with some Gene Stealer cults perhaps, and some knights. I think that could be interesting. But I've been really wanting to make some mining world terrain, so that'll give me an excuse. So it'll go with my Gene Stealer cult, and it'll go with my knights. 2 for 1. And I was also watching Duncan Rhodes. I'm sure you've all heard of him. He also collects the same house of Imperial Knights. And then he had an idea of using the Solar Auxilia troopers as like the Knight House Militia. And that gave me a really good idea. I kind of want to do something similar. However, one of the designers that I follow on my mini factory, called Station Forge, they're known for making really good Deathcore of Krieg proxies. Well, they also have one that's called the Royal Guard, and they're kind of like Deathcore guys wearing armor, and that would be perfect for like a nice Night House militia army. So I might 3D print some of those guys and make them House Griffith Militia. I think that'd be really cool. Totally for fluffy games, you know. Fluffy narrative games. I'm having a hard time keeping a tip on this brush. I'm gonna move up to a smaller one. Might make it a little bit easier for me. There we go. Yeah, this is working out a little bit better. There's just always a project on the horizon, though. So many ideas that I want to see come to fruition. So many glyphs. I'm committed now, though. I'm sure it'll look great, though. I always get impatient when I paint terrain, though. I just want it to be done so I can throw it on the table and use it and not have to think about it again. It's a necessary evil, terrain. Alright, halfway done with the steps here. Oh, that got a little sloppy. Gotta get this paint to behave. Kinda not behaving right. I want to get to a nice thin consistency, but not too watery. I think it's starting to dry up. Maybe that's the problem. Since I'm not using my wet palette tonight. Alright, 2 more steps to go. Just gotta power through. And the fun part. I just want to see this all put together. I'll paint it up. It's gonna look so cool. Get this in here. Hope I have enough Tesseract glow. Been using quite a bit of it lately, painting up my Necrons. Alright chat, let me know. What armies do you collect? So I get some Tyranids, some Tau. Is that the only army? Do you collect multiple armies? I have a few forces myself. All have which been featured on the channel here in a battle report or the other. Except for my knights. The knights have not been featured yet because they're not quite ready for battle. They will be soon. I'll be anxious to get them up on the table. Gonna be magic time soon. I'm excited. Tyranids, Necron, Space Marines, Salamanders. Ooh. Nice. Nice spread. I'm similar. Tyranids, Necron, Space Marines, but Ultramarines. And then I have some Eldar and Gene Stealers. A very tiny Imperial Guard army. As well as a Knight army, which I just have to finish painting. There's very few armies that I would not collect. They're all so very cool looking. I just really like the whole 40k setting, all the factions. So what is one army you would not collect? I think the only one for me that falls in that category is maybe AdMech. But even then I go through phases where I'm like, AdMech's kind of cool. Alright, now we're going to bust out the Tesseract Glow. Maybe Custodes. I don't know if I collect Custodes. Find my shade brush here. A sloppy shade brush. Where is it? There it is. Alright, Tesseract Glow, as we all know, needs to be shaken and stirred like crazy. I wouldn't collect Drukhari. See, I totally would. I think they're cool. But to each his own. I like their little like hovercraft transports, and they're just so evil, you know? Maybe specifically a Slaanesh demon army I would probably not do. Or maybe a Tzeentch demon army. But like Khorne demons and Nurgle, I'd do one of those. That's pretty cool. I was just thinking that I wouldn't do any Drukhari stuff, but then I seen some beautiful paint jobs in my local game store. Yeah, you can do some really cool stuff with Drukhari. And Eldar in general, but Drukhari especially. I feel like you kind of... The lore supports a more like... I don't know. Cool, colorful, interesting paint scheme. And like... airbrush decals and stuff. You can do some really cool stuff with Eldar. I'm gonna paint this inner circle a dull glow. Then we'll do these bits here. Oh yeah, it's coming to life already. Yes, chef's kiss. And just like that. These other two doors real quick. I should glue these on too while I'm at it. Yeah, I'm not happy with the way my printer kind of mucked up these doors here. I tried a cheaper filament. I should have just got the stuff that I normally get. Because that seems to be more consistent. This stuff kind of gives me some booger and stringing issues. I don't know if any of you 3D print, but it can be a whole hobby in itself. Tuning the printer and getting nice clean prints to come out. It's a whole thing. Alright, I'm gonna glue these doors on. I'll continue on with the glow. I'm gonna actually use some... I like to use... Hey Travis, how's it going? Doing well. Painting up some Necron terrain for the Pariah Nexus. We're talking about 40k factions that we would not collect. And for me, it's a very small list. Ah. Oh no, I squeezed too much. It won't stop. It won't stop. Great. Printed a Canderous proxy. Looks gorgeous. Aspect Warrior painting series. Time soon, I hope. Oh, yeah. I put that out on a poll in the community tab for the next kind of video to come out. And surprisingly, the Aspect Warrior series didn't get very many votes. I'll probably still do it anyways, just because I have Aspect Warriors that need to be painted. And I think it'd be fun. Yeah, my problem is finding the time to film and record. I want to try to keep a regular schedule of stuff coming out, but and have time to you know, have fun and play games and, you know, all that good stuff. This full-time job of mine kind of gets in the way sometimes. Alright, let's see what these... I play into my friend's Necrons. Kendra shot a Doomstalker. Huh. Hot dice are nice. Yes, they are. Played against Tau yesterday in our Crusade League. And I got some lucky saves, and lucky for me, his dice weren't doing him any favors on the shooting phase, and I kind of caught a break here and there, which is really nice. It was a good game. Wow, look at that. New nids are supposed to be scary. I'm looking forward to a rematch. Yeah, I'm down. We could do a 2,000 point game. I've added some of the I'm taking full advantage of the Vanguard Invader keyword added to the Trigon Molochs and the Raveners. Those are fun now, and I normally would not use them, but because they have that keyword, I can use them with my detachment, which opens up a whole new world of possibilities. I feel like Tyranids should be scary. And they were kind of feeling a little not scary of recently, so I welcome the new changes in the data slate. Unfortunately, though, the bringing back units being limited to once per battle, I think, is kind of lame. I feel like that's something that's not terribly abused, and I don't know. Like my last Crusade battle report, I played my Tyranids and Ben played the Necrons, I brought back a unit of Hormagaunts 3 times. Obviously, this was filmed before the the data slate came out, but I brought back a unit of like Hormagaunts and Termagaunts 3 times, and it didn't really affect the battle too much as far as balance goes. I don't know. That's the only change I'm kind of disappointed about on the data slate. Other than that, I think it's all good. I hope that means they can fix the points to reflect that. Being able to bring back 300 to 400 points over a game can feel real bad to play against. Yeah, but I mean, Termagants and Hormagaunts, they're when you're killing them 1 unit at a time, it's not like you have that much extra points on the table from the start. They're pretty squishy. I think the points actually did not change. I don't think they've gone down at all. But I would like to see some of the Gaunt units to come down in points so you can field more to kind of make up for not being able to bring them back. But we'll see. Maybe the next data slate update. Okay, so painting these glyphs on the stairs was a huge pain in the butt, but I will say it was worth it. I like the way this is looking. It's cool. Yes. Are those airbrush stencils? No, they're so this is all 3D printed and it's just got like a little recess. So I thinned down some white paint and kind of carefully traced in there the brush. Yeah, so this whole set of terrain's been 3D printed. So there's one thing I could do is kind of paint it sloppily with white and then dry brush black to clean up the glyphs. You don't ever think about dry brushing black though, unless you're doing like a burn mark or something. That would probably work too. It's a speed up to this technique. Man, this never gets old. Applying Tesseract Glow over white. I love effect paints. They're so fun. I want to get some more of those Army Painter Fanatic effects. Alright. Staircase number 2. It's a good shake. Do I spray my terrain with protective coating when I'm done? Yes, I do. Sometimes. I usually spray with like a matte clear coat. I just buy like the cheap Rust-Oleum matte varnish, spray it. Which reminds me, I have a bunch of terrain I painted recently, which I have not sprayed yet. But that usually protects it pretty well for transport and, handling. Yeah, I like to take a lot of my terrain to my game store too when I play. So I'll throw it into like a tote. So having it varnished really helps. And probably worth the extra step to do. Like 3D printed stuff, I worry a little bit less about. But like Games Workshop terrain, since that's so like fine detailed and expensive, I usually take extra care in protecting that stuff. Just start assembling this as I finish each piece for a dramatic reveal. Do that as soon as I'm done painting this one here. Start positioning these. So I think this piece of terrain kind of classifies as like a hill. A hill of sorts. Oh, I just realized I left my airbrush on. My air compressor. Did a little bit of airbrushing earlier on the central piece of this hill, which you'll see in a second here. For those of you who have recently joined, missed the beginning of this where I did a little bit of airbrushing. So we'll bring that out in a bit. Yeah, but we are on the home stretch here. This is so satisfying. I had a super old box of Assault Marines laying around. I probably bought in 2010. Was a set of 10. Finally got around to building them and try some more jump intercessors. Oh, nice. The old Marines with the big jump packs, right? I like the new Primaris jump Marines, but I think I like the classic design better on those. Firstborn vehicles are the best. I'll die on that hill. I just gotta get these side pieces here. Land Raiders are the coolest Space Marine vehicle. Oh yeah. Absolutely. The day they retire the Land Raider model is going to be a sad day. I bet you if anything, they'll come out with a new Land Raider kit. Or they'll come out with like more variants of it. I don't know. What was the army winner of the world? What was the army winner of the would not collect discussion? I don't think we had a winner. We all said something different. Some people said Drukhari. I think Drukhari is cool though. I said Admech or Custodes. I don't know. Every now and then, though, I think Admech looks cool. Like the robots and the Skitarii Rangers and stuff. I just don't like the Admech vehicles. I think I've mentioned that before. But yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of like the steampunky Da Vinci flying machines and like the hover tanks. They're hideous. Alright, so how this works, this piece goes here. Oh, let's see if it can fit. Yeah, well, just have to be... Gotta get a little crammed here for a second. This piece goes like that. This piece goes like that. Then we have this piece, which I have to paint next with the Tesseract Glow. Harlequins. Aesthetic is not for me. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I don't know if I do Harlequins either. I used to not like them, like, a lot, but the more I play with Eldar and, like, I guess I've come to appreciate them. But yeah, they're definitely one of the more bizarre factions. They have they have a look, we'll say. I couldn't do guard in a sci-fi setting. Being normal people, it seems boring to me. That's what I like about guard, though, is they're just normal people, and you just throw waves and waves and waves at the enemy. And tanks. I just like horde armies, though. They're fun. Yeah, exactly. Big-ass tanks. I really like the Deathcore of Krieg. Just like stone cold. They almost seem emotionless because you can't see what their faces are showing, you know. Alright, so now we have the roof pieces, which go on like so. Fits together. I'm probably not going to glue this because it'll make transport and storing this a lot easier. And then we got this guy. The central piece to this whole debacle. So the center orb thing I used my airbrush on. So much Tesseract glow here. There. Nice, simple, quick Necron terrain paint scheme. The primer does all the work. Thing's so big, I'm trying to... Oh, I was just zoomed in too much. There we go. There, you can see a little bit better now. I thought it was zoomed all the way out. Last few orbs to glow up here. And I think this sucker is going to be done. Be careful not to touch the greens that's drying. Make a big mess. This paint is very messy. It's a very strong pigment. That yellow, you'll be washing out of your brush for weeks. Yellow green. It's like a Mountain Dew green. Or like Monster Energy. Or Surge. Remember Surge? I think they brought it back. You can get it on Amazon. I just remember Surge had the weirdest commercials. Surge makes me think of Pepsi Blue. Pepsi Blue? I don't remember Pepsi Blue. Is it just Blue Pepsi? Boom! There we go. Necron Hill. Looks like Windex. Yeah, that sounds very appetizing. Oh, I completely missed part of this middle. There we go. Much better. A little bit of glow. Just a dash of happy glow here. There we go. Necron terrain. Painted. We got there. And I think that is where I'm going to call it for tonight. Wasn't that right at the time? Like purple ketchup. Oh, yeah. Well, nowadays we just have our pink sauce. That terrain looks amazing. Thank you. Really quick paint job. A lot of dry brushing. Something, you know, fairly simple, but it gets the job done. And the Tesseract glow just really brings it to life and gives it that Necron look. But, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out here. Try to get some close-up shots here. Stand by. There we go. The camera is free. Yeah. It's fun stuff. This is for sure going to be in the next Pariah Nexus episode. That's for sure. Alright, well, I think I'm going to leave it at that, folks. Thanks for joining me tonight. It's been a lot of fun chatting and hanging out and stuff. I know this wasn't as involved or as interesting as painting Space Marines, but I'll get back to those guys sooner or later. But yeah, I thought I'd do something a little bit different, paint up some terrain, because I had to get this done for my next battle report. So, what better night than to do it on Tuesday night. So, alright, well, Aspect Warriors, yeah, okay, well, I'll see. We'll see if I get some assembled. Yeah, I think that might be a good idea, though. Alright, guys, well, y'all have a wonderful evening, and we'll catch you in the next one. Next week, I will not be streaming on Tuesday. I have a conflict, but I should be back the following week on the schedule. So, I'll drop a reminder in the community tab here on the YouTube channel, so just keep an eye out for that. Next week, we should have a new video coming out. Next week, Friday, is the plan, so stay tuned for that as well. Alright, well, I will leave you all with that, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.